Hello everyone, welcome to the session. I hope you all are doing good. चलिए जल्दी से हम लाइव चलते हैं. एक बार मुझे देखने दीजिए if I'm audible and the video is clear, and after that we can begin with the session. Just give me few seconds. All right, so the audio and the video both are fine, and I'm also, I think, pretty much visible. All right, so the audio and the video both are fine, and I'm also, so we can start with the session. You can keep giving the answer in the comment section. The comment section is open for all of you. In case you have any doubts or questions, you can also use the comment section to put those doubts as well. So what we are going to discuss here in this particular session, top 40 MCQs based upon June first week. Okay, so there are a lot of news. We are going to cover the same here. Acha, one more important announcement. Now, what used to happen in the paid batches, so we usually have more than 15 sessions. And along with those 15 sessions, we have the liberty to keep extra classes as well. We have the liberty to reschedule the classes at times if required and add additional classes. And we also have the 4 weekly sessions in the paid batches. But on the YouTube, we were usually conducting the weekly quizzes only. Because we have no time to decode and discuss each and every specific news item. So now we have done what? We have started adding 2 new sessions from this particular month. So we'll be having a separate session for banking, financial, business, economic related current affairs, and along with that, I think RBI के लिए हमारे पास एक separate यहाँ पर session होने वाला है, which will be very beneficial for all the learners who are preparing for the examination in 2026. Okay, so let us move ahead. The PDF file for this particular session will be available on our Oliveboard YouTube section in the application. So if you have not already registered on the Oliveboard application, try to make it sure that you do as early as possible, because the PDF is only available for the first 7 days. Okay. Moving ahead, the first question is regarding the LPPI FY25 launch, and the question is asking under which framework this LPPI FY25 has been launched. So those of you who have heard about this LPPI, do tell me in the comment section what is the correct answer according to you. Meanwhile, I'll be taking the time to explain and give you the context. See, this LPPI stands for Logistic Port Performance Index. Okay, and it is usually announced or like reported by the Ministry of Shipping, Ports and Waterways. Currently, the minister is Mr. Sarbanand Sonowal Sahab. So Sonowal Sahab was attending the occasion of 37th anniversary of JNPA, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Authority, and at the same you can say time period or the time frame, he has released this particular LPPI for FY25. What is LPPI exactly? It basically monitors and tracks the performances of Indian ports, usually the overall efficiency, and for the sake of proper ranking and you can say regulated objective ranking, it divides the entire operational chain into 3 separate categories. First is the dry category, the second is the wet category, and the third is the container category. So dry category, as the name suggests, it will be having more uniform stockpiles, like for example coal, for example mica, for example iron ore, etc. These all come under the dry category of the shipment. Second is the wet category, in which things like crude oil, etc. are placed. Container category के अंदर में you have the things from the textile sector. Apart from that, the electronics are also clubbed in this. So JNPA, which was recently celebrating its 37th anniversary, it won the second place in the container category of the LPPI. Okay, the first position was probably with Mundra Port, Adani Mundra Port. It was having the first position. In a lot of news portals and magazine and weekly columns, I have seen that The news headlines are saying that JNPA has topped the LPPI container category, but that is not true. It is in the top, but it has not topped, because topping the list means it is having the first position, which is not the case. It is having the second position here. Okay. So I hope you have got the context of this LPPI. LPPI is a new initiative. It became functional from 2023-24 only. So this year we have this list, and different ports have won in different categories. For example, in the dry category, the Paradeep port from Odisha has won the award. Okay. In the container category, first position is occupied by which entity? As we have mentioned, the Mundra ports, okay, which is in Gujarat. Paradeep is in Odisha. And JNPA, which has occupied the second position in the container category, it is located in which state? Maharashtra, specifically Mumbai. Okay. The wet category, the rank has gone to a player, I believe, again in the state of Gujarat. I'm not able to recall the exact name. It is not that popular. So these were the awardees. Okay. Question is asking what is the specific framework. So it works, this LPPI works on the specific framework called as Sagar Akalan framework. Sagar Akalan is the correct answer. Sagar means ocean, Akalan means evaluation, ocean evaluation framework. Okay. Alongside this LPPI index launch, there were 4 other initiative alongside one AI tool which has been announced by Mr. Sonowal. On this also, there will be some questions in the later half of this particular session. We'll be discussing that as well. Second question, it is asking which urban local body has made history by developing India's first ever municipality-led IT or ITES says. IT, information technology. ITES means information technology enabled services. SEZ means here special economic zone. Special economic zone. Question is asking which urban local body has made history by developing India's first ever municipality led IT or ITES says. IT or ITES says. So correct answer for this is Olgaret municipality. Why this has been asked here? Recently, 2 new SEZ has been notified in the Union Territory of Puducherry. Now, if it was any regular SEZ, then also the news was significant enough to be covered here. But it is for the very first time that one of the SEZ out of the 2 SEZ which has been notified in the Puducherry is basically allocated, or the status is provided to the urban local body. So there is an involvement of an urban local body for the very first time here. Okay, which is named as Olgaret municipality. The second SEZ is awarded to a entity which was called as PIPDIC. PIPDIC. Moving ahead, next question is what is the specialized predictive nowcasting window of India's first skycast system, which is inaugurated at the IGI airport? At the IGI airport. Anybody who is sure about the answer? Jaldi se aap bata sakte ho if you are sure about the correct answer here. What is the specialized predictive nowcasting window of India's first Skycast system inaugurated at the IGI airport? Firstly, let me tell you what is this Skycast system about. So India has become the 19th country to have this type of smart, intelligent weather forecasting system now. Conventionally, let's suppose a pilot is flying in an area in the northern India. He's taking a trip to the northern India, and specifically during the winter there is a lot of obstruction. There can be cloud, there can be dense fumes, the parali, or what is also called as what we call that in English, parali, uh, uh, the I think क्या उसको बोलते हैं पराली को, there is an English terminology for the same, है ना? I'm not able to recall it. We'll be adding about it later. So stubble कहते हैं basically. So stubble is also being burned, firecrackers during Diwali, etc. It becomes a visibility more poorer, है ना? The smog rate increases. अच्छा, there can be intense wind-like condition which can trigger dusty mixture into this smog, further dropping. So earlier these type of short window events were not covered under the framework of the general forecasting, because the general forecasting cover a time period of 6 to 24 hours. But any immediate change in the weather condition is not usually, the data is not usually available with the pilot. So he cannot take quick decision because he was not having any of these data. So what they used to do, they used to hover around the, you can say, airspace. rather than landing because of the low visibility. Now, this particular sky casting system, the intelligent weather forecasting system, has reduced that time window from traditional 6 to 24 hours to a time period of 3 hours. And this is for an altitude of 3 kilometer. Time window is also 3 kilometer, and the altitude range, maximum altitude range at which this particular system works is also 3 kilometer. So you should be sure about these two things. Hai na? About IGI stands for Indira Gandhi International Airport. Recently, in the month of April or May, in a list of Skytrack, this IGI airport has won the 28th place, and first from India. है ना? Next is, what is the official mandated disposal timeline for redressing complaints under CPGram? I hope you all are aware about CPGram. CPGram is a portal for the consumer grievance redressal. So all your consumer grievance can be redressed on this particular portal, which is called as the CPGrams portal. Now this CPGram portal is having a time period of 21 days. 21 days. All your grievances and a problem can be redressed within a time period of 21 days on this particular portal. Let us suppose you are having a issue with certain office in under the Department of Financial Services. Okay. So you need to register the complaint. So you will register that complaint through this particular portal that is called as the CPGram portal, and the resolution or the redressal time period for the same is nearly 3 weeks, that is 21 days. Okay. So the explanation is also giving here. Since I am already giving you a detailed explanation, a summarized explanation, so I'm not reading these slides. After the session, if you are not able to recall things, if you're feeling that you are not sure about what the content actually was, you can go through this slide again and read it to avoid any confusion or blurriness. Next question here, it is asking, is under the India Oman SEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, what percentage of Indian export now enjoy duty-free access to Oman? So let me give you a summary and a background plus context of this particular news. So in December 2025, India and Oman agreed on this SEPA. ठीक है ना, इसके लिए एग्रीमेंट हो गया था on this comprehensive economic partnership agreement, but it went operational, or you can say it came into force on 1st of June in 2026. Currently in the present month in 2026 it went operational. So earlier what used to happen, if a particular exporter from India is selling his good into Oman, he used to pay a excise or a duty of 5%. So this 5% duty has now been aborted for 99.38% of the goods, Indian goods or exports that are now landing into Oman. ठीक है ना? So you can think of a hypothetical scenario कि there is a company X in Oman and there is a Indian company named A. ठीक है? X is manufacturing a certain commodity and it is selling it at 102 rupees. A, which is the Indian company, is also making the same commodity for 100 rupees. ठीक है, 2 rupees cheaper along with logistic cost, है ना, it is providing the same thing at 100 rupees. But when this item will enter into Oman, there will be addition 5% duty and the total cost will go to 105 rupees. Whereas the local vendor in the Oman, they used to still able to sell the same product without any duty for 102 rupees. So we were facing a tough competition. Who will buy our product if the quality is also same? If the quality is also same. Okay, and the local partner is providing a cheaper source. So now the dropping of this 5%, you can say, charges are going to incentivize Indian export into Oman under this new operationalized SEPA. There are a lot of other things also which has been agreed upon as part of this SEPA. So you need to thoroughly be aware of all the important part and declaration provisions of this India and Oman SEPA. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. In the newly launched Maha Water Mission, what is the mandatory financial contribution required for the private industry partner? So recently this Maha Water Mission with a fund of 200 plus crore was being launched by the government. What is this about? It is basically to incentivize or promote the water startups in the country, but not in a traditional way, not directly. If you can recall and recollect a particular current affair news which we have covered in the month of May, where ICMR, which is India's premier medical research body, Indian Council of Medical Research, it has handed over 41 technologies developed by it or its scientists to the industry partner under a, you can say, a theme or under an initiative which was called as Mitra I2I. I2I means innovators to industry. What usually happens, just like in the school days when you used to make those assignments and the projects and your thesis, after the marks were being allocated to you by the professor, these files were being thrown into garbage. No due respect or recognition of your hard work or labor that you have done. Similarly, in a lot of top bodies also, they are not thrown away. They are being thoroughly seen, evaluated, etc. For example, in the 3 Idiot movie, and the person who committed the suicide, he was developing a drone, some drone like of thing. During 2009, it was when drone was not that popular in India. ठीक है ना, तो उस चीज को वहां पर बना रहा था. तो मोस्ट ऑफ दीज ब्रिलियंट माइंड who are sitting into institutions like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, in IIT Bombay, in IISc Bangalore, if they develop a particular project, those products are innovations. They are brilliant innovation, but they are always stuffed into the laboratories or the departments for that matter. ठीक है ना, they are shown as prototype and they remain at the prototype stage. They are never marketed or commercially launched. To fill the gap between the academia and the industry, the government is taking a lot of initiative. The ICMR initiative that I was talking about, that was taken in the month of May, was also a similar initiative where ICMR handed 41 technologies to the industrial partner. Here also what will happen, the government has embarked this 200 rupees crore of fund, but this 200 crore rupees fund cannot be accessed directly by the professors or the deans or the students in the colleges. Rather, it will be, there is a condition for you taking the amount from this 200 crore. What is the condition? You have to form a consortium, a group. For example, when this RCB team was being sold, Royal Challengers Bangalore, we only know on the face usually what is the name of Birla ji's daughter, Ananya Birla, who is usually seen as the Karta Dharta of the RCB team. But rather it was a consortium, a group of entities which came together to acquire RCB for 16-18,000, whatever crore was the value. Similarly, government is mandating that the professor or the student directly cannot take the money from this particular fund for their innovation or for their project. They need to partner with the MSMEs or for startups specifically who are working in the sector of water, you can say सेक्टर. वाटर का जो कैटेगरी है, वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग से लेकर के वाटर कंजर्वेशन से लेकर इसके ऊपर वाटर टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन, यहाँ पर जो काम कर रहे हैं उनके साथ में आपको पार्टनरशिप करना है. एंड government has also mandated that these startups or the industry partner is what? The MSME and the startups are the industry partners and they are teaming up with the academia. So just to make it sure that they are not only associating for the namesake or for the branding, they also have skin in the game. Government has mandated that the startup or the MSME have to contribute 10% of the estimated cost of that project. So let's suppose if the cost is estimated to be around 10 crore rupees or 1 crore rupees, the industry partner, whether it is MSME or startup, they have to provide 1 crore rupees as part of this particular. Achha, the question comes, what will be the benefit of these startups? See, they can get benefited from a lot of government schemes since they are collaborating for a government work. But most importantly, a new stage startup in its niche stage, or it's in not niche, in its nascent stage, it does not have access to the cutting edge technologies which it requires for its operation, which are already present in the laboratories of these bigger institutions. ये जो बड़े बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशन है उनके पास कई प्राइवेट कंपनी से ज्यादा बेटर लेबोरेटरीज होती है बिकॉज दे आर गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन, वेदर इट इज IIT, वेदर इट इज सम अदर कॉलेज, प्राइवेटली मैनेज, पब्लिकली मैनेज, है ना, टिफर हो, चाहे बहुत बड़े बड़े गैजेट्स इक्विपमेंट्स होते हैं विच कॉस्ट 50 crore 100 crore. So these startups do not have the fund to have those technologies in house, so they will be getting access to those technologies and they will be working alongside the academia to come to a solution. The correct answer for this is 10 crore rupees. 10 crore rupees. Any questions or doubt from this particular section? You may ask it. Moving ahead, the new species Miscellania bishnoi was discovered by Geological Survey of India in Rajasthan. Belongs to which animal group? So in the month of June, Geological Survey of India has announced a new species of a particular animal or an organism or an whatever it is. I'm not disclosing it right now because that is what the question is all about. In Bikaner of Rajasthan, question is asking what is the group of the animal. To which category it does belong? Is it a snake, lizard, gecko, or frog? Correct answer is it is a lizard. And the species has been named as Bishnoi to honor the Bishnoi community of the Rajasthan. For their environmentalist sentiment, for their contribution for so long into conservation, etc. So genus name is Miscellanea, species is named as Bishnoi for honoring the Bishnoi community in Rajasthan. Next is HUL has inaugurated the Universal Fragrance Hub at which prestigious campus? So recently, HUL, which is a FMCG company, fast moving consumer good company, it has launched its you can say fragrance hub at a certain institution. What is the reason of this fragrance hub? What is fragrance hub all about? See, fragrance hub का यहाँ पर मतलब क्या होता है? Fragrance hub, whenever a consumer is buying a certain product, we usually think that the product is only bought from the perspective of which product is going to give better result. But most of the thing, whether it is a detergent, whether it is a perfume, whether it is a soap, whether it is a body wash, whether it is a shower gel, they almost have identical result. ऐसा नहीं है कि if you are using one company's product, it is going to give you miraculous transformation and the other is going to be completely waste. ठीक है ना? So क्या होता है यहाँ पर आप देखोगे कि the companies focus upon other things apart from result, like packaging, for example fragrance, because fragrance or olfaction or smell has a very specific mechanism. Humans tend to relate their memories with a particular type of scent or a smell. So let's suppose there was a certain scent in your vicinity around you, and during the same time some result got declared, or something very beautiful happened in your life. That particular scent is going to have a long-term impact. Now 5 years later, again in some other scenario, if you sense that particular smell in your vicinity again, you will be further very much excited about the same. Okay? So the correct answer here is where it is basically these type of fragrance hub, they are inaugurated around everywhere in different parts. So where it is being inaugurated? In IIT Bombay campus. In IIT Bombay campus. Moving ahead, next question is effective June 15, the base year for India's wholesale price index has been updated from 2011 to which year? करेक्ट आंसर इज 2022-23. ठीक है. WPI जो इंडेक्स है ये कौन रिलीज करता है? DPIT रिलीज करती है. And on what particular date? On 14th or 15th of every month. Usually it is 14th, but sometime it can be 15th as well. Next question is what is the total outlay of the aviation turbine fuel price stabilization fund by the government? So in order to provide a stability, or you can say help to the Indian aviation sector which has been affected by the Middle East chaos or the Middle East crisis. ठीक है. अच्छा, over the top, apart from this Middle East crisis, Pakistan has also closed the airspace for Indian flights. ठीक है. So we have to take a longer route, and in order to take this longer route, we have to spend a lot of money. So government is trying to help the aviation sector to get away from this particular issue. Why? Because within past few months you will see that the prices of the jet fuel has soared from 60 rupees per liter to over 140 rupees per liter. So government is trying to come forward with a massive emergency fund of 10,000 crore to help them. Otherwise, if the government is not going to help them, these aviation sector companies, airlines are going to simply transfer the entire cost on the head of the consumer. Next question which is being asked here is which Central Asian country was elected to the UN Security Council for the very first time in its history? So there were 5 countries which were added to the UN Security Council, and the country which is getting into the Security Council for the very first time is Kyrgyzstan. Okay? Question 12 is regarding Surhatal Oxbow Lake has recently been declared as the 100th Ramsar site. It is located in which state? So firstly, I hope you are aware about the Ramsar Convention which came in 1971. Ramsar is basically a place in Iran. ये जो global wetlands है ना, उनकी significance को समझाता भी है और उसको notify भी करता है. India has now more allow exactly 100 Ramsar site, and with this declaration, India has become the only third country in the world after UK and Mexico to have 100 or more than 100 Ramsar site. So the state with most Ramsar site in India is Tamil Nadu with 19 or 20 Ramsar site. Followed by that, we have Uttar Pradesh, which has total of how many Ramsar site? Which has a total of around you can say 13 Ramsar site. Acha, even the 99th Ramsar site in India, which was Shikha Jheel Bird Sanctuary, which is located in Aligarh of Uttar Pradesh, it was also in Uttar Pradesh, and the 100th Ramsar site is also in the same state. Okay, and this development came on the World Environment Day in 2026, which is celebrated on 5th June. World Environment Day, when it's celebrated 5th of June. Okay. Moving ahead, Nvidia, India's first AI-driven commercial tender evaluation engine, was developed by which partnership? What is the and which are the entities which have developed Nvidia? Firstly, it is not Nvidia, it is Nvidia. What is this? It is like a AI tender evaluation engine. You know? So we were discussing about the LPPI initiative, not initiative, LPPI index announcement by Sonowal Sahab. है ना? During the same occasion, 4 new digital initiative and one AI tool were being announced that I have already mentioned. This AI tool was Nevada. What is it is trying to do? For example, most of the tender and contracts, when they are being allocated, there is a lot of confusion, there are a lot of allegations that there is a favoritism or a human bias. A certain company is being benefited from this particular deal. In order to solve this particular problem, Nevada has been launched. It is an evaluation engine. It evaluates the tender solely on the basis of the raw data which has been provided. So the correct answer, who is developing it? DGS and AI Transmute Solutions. Next question is, what is the specific purpose of the IBPS traffic grid launched at the JNPA? This is another development specific to the ports in India. ठीक है ना? So यहाँ पर क्वेश्चन क्या पूछ रहा है कि what is the specific purpose of IBTS traffic grid launched at the Jawaharlal Nehru Port Authority? See, conventionally, when you have to manage the maritime traffic or the traffic at the port, just like we have traffic at railways, a lot of trains, which are waiting for the station to get vacant to come on the platform. On the roads, we have traffic. Similarly, in the maritime sector also, we have these traffic. So till now, all the tracking of the real location, etc., it was basically we were dependent upon the foreign countries, mostly the Western countries, specifically for their software. Now we have this IBTS, which stand for Indigenous Vessel Traffic Services, which is going to do the same thing for us. So it is going to secure our data. We do not have to depend upon the foreign country. So it is a locally engineered traffic grid that tracks the ship movement without relying upon the foreign software. Next news is, what is the spatial scale of the manufacturing engine SEZ node at the Karasur, Puducherry? So we have discussed, there are two SEZ which have been notified in Puducherry. One is operated by that urban local body which is named as Olgaret. The second is for manufacturing and other activities. So it is asking the total area. Total area is actually 213 acres, which roughly translate into 86 hectare. So students might get confused between these two values. That is why you have to also see the unit. It is not hectares, it is rather acres. So be focused upon that also. Next question is question 16. What is the deployment of Skycast engine has become, with the deployment of the Skycast engine, India has become which number of country in the world to use such weather intelligence? The correct answer is 19th country. This I have already briefed while I was explaining you the Skycast system. Okay? I hope this part is clear to you all. Moving ahead, the AI chatbot Samadhan Didi supports how many official Indian languages for complaint registration? So it supports a total of 22 languages, all the language. What is this Samadhan? Sorry. What is this Samadhan Didi for all about? Iska purpose kya hai? है ना? See, we have discussed about the CP gram. है ना? CP gram is for the complaint registration, for the complaint or the grievance redressal. If you have any grievance, if you have any complaint, this portal is basically for that. Now, Samadhan Didi is an AI voice chatbot that has been integrated within the framework of CP gram. So what will be the function of this? it is going to make it sure, that all the grievances or the complaint that you are registering, you are able to register that by voice command. You do not have to fill manual complex form. Rather, everything can be easily achieved by just saying whatever is your complaint. So you can use the words, the speech is going to be translated into text, and not just that, it is going to be decoded and rerouted to the concerned department, you know, for which the actual grievance is all about. So it is going to provide this facility in 22 different languages, which are all the language of the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Next question is, the Indian Oman SEPA officially entered into force on which date? So correct date is 1st June. I've already mentioned that it came into force on 1st June, although it was agreed upon or signed in December of 2025. Okay. Moving ahead, the projected total outlay of 200 crore for the Mahawater mission is for the period of how many months or years? So this is for the time period of 5 years, 5 complete years. Next is Unilever's macro level global investment program for fragrance creation has a total outlay of how much rupee? So the total outlay is 100 million euro. This Unilever's fragrance hub I have already explained, so I'm not decoding it again. We already know the details of the same. Next question is, which energy source is now newly integrated into the electricity group of the updated WPI basket? So the WPI basket, in the WPI basket, what we'll see that firstly the base year has changed. Alongside that, there are addition of new renewable energy sources. Since we are transitioning into renewable energy, which was not the case 15-16 years ago when the base year was different. So in the new WPI framework, the renewable energy has also entered, which includes solar, wind and nuclear as well. ठीक है ना? So यहाँ पर out of those only wind energy is mentioned, wind electricity is mentioned. So wind electricity is the correct answer. But apart from wind energy, solar and nuclear are also integrated. ठीक है? चलिए. Next is, you should be also aware that WPI, although the base year has been updated, but it is for a very short time period. है ना? Along with WPI, there is another index which has been launched now. Another framework which has been launched now. It is your homework to find the correct answer and tell me that in the comment section of this particular video. Okay? WPI will be scraped out, or it will be defunct in the upcoming year, in the next 5 to 6 years. And the second framework which has been announced with the updation of the WPI, it will be the only existing framework in place of WPI. So try to find the answer. It is your homework question and put that in the comment section. Next is question 24. What was the legacy material used for standard milk packet before Mother Dairy's soil degradable pouch? So this question is framed from the Mother Dairy's update, where Mother Dairy has launched a soil degradable pouch. Usually you have those milk packet, Amul, Mother Dairy, etc. So conventionally, just like all the other players in the market, Mother Dairy also used to use a certain type of packaging which was not that environment friendly, because it used to take more than 100 years to completely degrade. And also the microplastic from the same used to seep in to the dairy product, which was not a healthy and viable option. So Mother Dairy has worked for more than 4 years. It has researched for more than 4 years, and now a new soil degradable pouch has started being used only in Mother Dairy's facility. ये ऐसा नहीं कि सारी companies के लिए है, अमूल के लिए नहीं है. They have to come up with their own solution probably later. So traditionally what they were using, this LDPE film. What is LDPE film? होता क्या है? Low density polyethylene film. What is polyethylene? When you take ethylene and do the polymerization, it is called as polyethylene, which you more comfortably called simply as polythene. ठीक है, जो आपके plastic bags होते हैं. Next is, they are of various grade, low density, high. In fact, even the chairs, the plastic chair, they are very high density plastic. So they are of various density. So these were traditional material were of low density polyethylene. Next question is, what is the fixed base price for the ATF for international flights under the price stabilization fund? So I've already explained you this 10,000 crore rupees ATF fund in the beginning of this session, when there was another question being asked from the same topic. It is asking what is the base price which has been decided for the international flight for the fuel. So the correct answer is 10104 rupees per liter. ठीक है, चलिए next question is, in the United Nations General Assembly, how many votes is each country entitled to for ordinary matters? Why this question is being asked? Because recently four new members were added in the, sorry, five new members were added in the UNSC. We already have solved, I think, one or two question in the beginning from this particular news. Now it is asking in ordinary matters, how many vote each country is entitled to. So each country is entitled only one vote. Apart from this, you should be also aware about who is the current Secretary General of United Nations. वो कौन है? एंटोनियो गुटारेज, ठीक है, ही इज द करेंट United Nations Secretary General. Now question number 28, who is the editor of the book When Audit Matters, which compiles analytical case studies on public finance? So in the month of June, a new book was being launched, and it is authored by the Vice President of India, Mr. Radhakrishnan. ठीक है. Nowadays, various examination have already started asking questions on book and author. Recently, on 6th of June, I have mentioned this in the paid classes as well, paid batches as well. On the 6th of June, in the LIC HFL examination also, a book of the author Robin Sharma was being asked. Yeah? So any book by important bureaucrat, very top-notch bureaucrat, by any individual who is having a constitutional position or a popular author, these things you have to compile on a single page for the past 4.5 to 6.5 months. You can compile a list of all the books which have been released. So book is authored by Radhakrishnan, but the question is asking who is the editor of the book. So editor is the former CAG of India, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, whose name is Mr. Vinod Rai. Vinod Rai. Do not confuse Vinod Rai with Vinod Dua. They are totally two different people. ठीक है ना? चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Which institution manages the Indian terminal of the India UK Critical Mineral Global Supply Chain Observatory? So recently India and UK have announced their partnership for a common Global Supply Chain Observatory, or GSCO, Global Supply Chain Observatory. Why? Because critical minerals are the very important thing in today's age. Your EV batteries, your solar batteries, everything is dependent upon these critical minerals like lithium, etc., lithium, germanium, etc. And China is having almost a monopoly. Whether it is about extraction or whether it is about processing, it is having a global share of 60 to 90% plus. So if there is any turmoil of any country or a global order, China can choke the entire supply chain. That is why most of the countries are either trying to focus upon the recycling from the waste of the critical mineral, or they are trying to find any new alternative of these critical minerals for solar and EV and other sectors, or they are trying to come together basically to help the other countries to extract their resources safely in a more environmental friendly manner, and also to collaborate to establish a global observatory. Just like we have a space observatory, जहाँ पर आप space की movements को track करते हो, यहाँ पर भी आप movement को, here also you are tracking the entire movement of the global supply chain of the critical mineral, so that we can always be prepared and track any sudden change in policy by any important country. So there are two terminals. Both the countries are participating. There is a UK terminal and there is an Indian terminal. And for both, educational institutes are the hub. For the Indian terminal, it is located at the IIT Dhanbad. IIT Dhanbad. ठीक है. Question number 30 पे आ जाते हैं. Currently, China controls approximately what percentage of global rare earth processing? I have used two words, extraction and processing. So it is asking about the processing. How much share China has? China has 85 to 90%, almost a monopoly, not almost, absolute monopoly when it comes to global rare earth processing operations. ठीक है. चलिए. Now, India's first mass market flex fuel passenger vehicle, which is called as Wagonar Flex Fuel Vehicle, can run on which ethanol range? I hope you are already aware of ethanol blending program. There were a lot of current affairs in the month of April, May and June. India has moved sugar as a commodity from restricted to prohibited category. This current affair was discussed in the April or May month. What is the reason? There are multiple reasons, 5 major reasons, but one very important reason was that we have to use the sugar or the source of sugar, the sugar cane, for ethanol blending. What is ethanol blending? We are mixing ethanol, commercially released ethanol, with petroleum. Okay. What is the purpose? Two important purpose. Firstly, reduce the carbon emission, but more importantly, carbon emission is only for the show off. Actual reason is that we want to reduce our dependence on the crude oil. है ना, because 85% plus of the crude oil that comes into India, it is sourced from other countries है ना. And in the current situation जो अभी Middle East में चल रहा है, only 3 major countries are involved. Think about a situation when it is a third war situation. So that is why in order to tackle these type of scenario, every country is doing their part. So India is also working on the strategic petroleum reserve, and they have partnered with a UAE based company ADNOC also, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company है ना. एंड इसको मॉनिटर कौन कर रहा है? देयर इज अ बॉडी कॉल्ड एज ISPRL which is headquartered in Noida sector 73. Strategic petroleum reserves are located mostly in the coastal areas, places like Vizag etc, जहां पर आप caves को क्रिएट करके, टनल्स को, वेल्स को क्रिएट करके वहां पर क्रूड ऑयल को स्टोर कर रहे हो, सो दैट इन डिफिकल्ट सिनेरियोज वी कैन ऑलवेज हैव ensured the supply. Other thing that we are trying to do is what? Focus upon ethanol blending. Because let us suppose if you are going to fill 1 liter of petrol, okay? If it is a traditional petrol, then 100% of it is derived from the crude oil. If it is a blended, you can say petrol, then 20 to 50% is ethanol and remaining percentage is of the what? Petrol. Okay? The problem with this approach is that the engines of most of the vehicles and their parts are not designed in a way to tolerate this ethanol, because ethanol is hygroscopic in nature. It absorbs the air from the surrounding and it is also corrosive, so it can corrode your entire vehicle. आपकी नॉर्मल व्हीकल में आप इथेनॉल डालोगे, वो डैमेज कर देगा आपको, ठीक है ना, कुछ दिनों के अंदर में डैमेज कर देगा कोरोजन से, केमिकल रिएक्शन से. सो देयर हैज टू बी स्पेसिफिक डिजाइन. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द व्हीकल्स वर टिल नाउ दे वर E10 compliant, E20 compliant like this, है ना. Most of the vehicles that were launched after 2025, they were ethanol E20 compliant. That is the variant which has 80% petrol and 20% ethanol. You can add that in those type of you can say vehicles. Wagoner has come up. Maruti Suzuki has launched this new vehicle, Wagoner Flex Fuel model, which can have or tolerate ethanol 20 to ethanol 100% ethanol it can also tolerate. So two ministers were there. I think Harideep Puri Sahab was also there, who is Minister of PNG, Petroleum and Natural Gas, and alongside MORTH, that is Ministry of Road Transport Highways, Mr. Nitin Gadkari was also there on the announcement of this particular new vehicle. Chaliye. Question 32 is asking which Indian state holds the highest number of Ramsar site? Total 20 as of June 2026. In the question number, initial question, I think fourth or the fifth question, I have detailed and briefed you about the entire history of the Ramsar site. When was the convention launched? What was the place? How many sites? Which country has the most? So in India, we have just discussed that Tamil Nadu is having the most Ramsar site, followed by Uttar Pradesh, which now has 13th Ramsar site, with the addition of शिखा झील एंड ये जो अभी आपने हमने भी बात की न्यूज के अंदर में द 100 साइट, वी हैव टोटल 13 इन उत्तर प्रदेश, 20 in Tamil Nadu, and total 100 in all over India. And India is at the third position as far as the number of the countries are concerned. It is one of the only 3 countries जो कि 100 या उससे ज्यादा रामसर साइट जिसके अंदर में मौजूद है. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज about the digital initiative. This is related to question number 1. I have explained you the LPPI. लॉजिस्टिक वाले जो आपकी रैंकिंग थी ना, वो उसी न्यूज में हमने कहा था कि देयर वर 4 इनिशिएटिव व्हिच वाज बीइंग अनाउंस्ड अलोंगसाइड दैट एलपीपीआई इंडेक्स. सो दिस क्वेश्चन इज अबाउट द सेम, दैट 24/7 seafarer grievance redressal module launched by DGS aligns India with which international convention? So this portal or this module is called as e-Navig. It is called as e-Navig. A lot of seafarers are working in the maritime sector, in the maritime industry. And just like I think you must have heard about the news where the Oman container or the ship was being attacked by the United States. और उसके ऊपर कई सारे जो इंडियन थे वो भी मौजूद थे, उनके ऊपर भी वो अटैक हुआ. ठीक है. सो ये तो अटैक की बात है, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट the general operation has a lot of, you can say, grievances, a lot of complaints. In order to solve those grievances, in order to solve those complaints, we have launched this new module or a portal which is called as e-Navig, and it is in alignment with an international convention which is called as Maritime Labor Convention of 2006. Now, next question 34 is asking, which digital module has been launched to move ship registration paperwork onto an automated Indian dashboard? Which digital module has been launched to move ship registration paperwork onto an automated Indian dashboard? So name of that dashboard, it is also part of that LPPI initiative where 4 different portals have been like called for. Correct answer is e-Samudra. E-Samudra. Moving ahead, the Skycast system maps the sky up to what maximum altitude for mapping winter fog or summer storms? Skycast system maps the sky up to what maximum altitude? This I have already briefed you during the initial time period. Correct answer is 3 kilometers. 3 kilometers. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. The AI chatbot Samadhan Didi, about which we have already discussed, was developed by a consortia or a group involving NIC and which organization? Apart from NIC, it was DAR-PG, and alongside DAR-PG, there was another organization or an entity which is called as Bhashini AI Technology. So correct answer is Bhashini. Moving ahead, the India-Oman SEPA has officially lifted the ban on which specific raw material export from Oman. So this SEPA, about which we have discussed earlier also, the basic details, it has lifted the ban from unpolished marble blocks. जो पहले नहीं जाते थे, अब ये जा सकते हैं. It is going to specifically benefit various supplier states, top producer states like Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh. Last question is asking, which country currently holds the highest number of Ramsar site globally? 175. So in the news earlier only I have mentioned all the top 3 countries. UK currently is at the first position with 175 Ramsar site, followed by Mexico which has some 140 plus site, and India has now become the 3rd country to have 100 or more than 100 Ramsar site. Okay, with the latest edition of the 100 site in India in the Balia district of Uttar Pradesh. Balia district of the Uttar Pradesh. So with this, we come to the end of today's session, and the PDF, as I have mentioned, you will be able to get on the Oliveboard application in the YouTube section. You can scan this QR code to directly join our Oliveboard portal in order to get regular update of the upcoming videos and also participate in various quizzes, classes and other projects. ठीक है ना, चलिए, goodbye, take care, have a very nice day. See you in the next session, I think on 20th of May, 20th of June in fact.